The Behind Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. If you have a little one and you're going to Walt Disney World, you're going to need a stroller. I'll tell you what, kingdomstrollers.com is the place where you want to look into. I'll tell you, I've destroyed my fair share of strollers while at Walt Disney World, and those things are not cheap. But getting something from kingdomstrollers.com, they'll be able to help you pick out the perfect stroller for you. And the nice part is that because they're a Disney preferred provider, they'll be able to drop it off and pick it up right from your Disney resort at no extra charge. So if you don't want to necessarily destroy your stroller in the process and you want to have a great Disney vacation with your little one, contact kingdomstrollers.com and they'll set you right up. That's kingdomstrollers.com.
Howdy, partners. Did you hear that the folks over at Expedition Roasters have hit gold? Gold Rush Churro flavor, that is, in Prospector's Roast. It's Expedition Roasters' latest specialty coffee release. This creation arose when the Prospector's churros were left on the mountain blasting site. Next thing you know, there's a big thunder blast, and it's raining churro dust into the campfire coffee. Eureka! A churro snack and a coffee roast. Now brew up a cup and hold on, because this here's the wildest coffee in the wilderness. And don't forget to check out their huge selection of pop culture-themed coffees, teas, and gear. Behind the Ears podcast listeners, be sure to use code EARS20 for 20% off your first order with us. That's EARS20 at expeditionroasters.com. Brew your happy place.
Coming to you live from our studios on the East Coast and in the Midwest, it's the Behind the Ears podcast, because everybody does Disney differently.
Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Ears podcast. I am Uncle Danny. That is Mr. Chris. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. If it's your 1000th time joining us, well, thanks for joining us once again. We go live every Tuesday and Thursday right here live on Facebook and or YouTube. You can catch all our podcasts on any place that catches a podcast. There's a lot of them. Try them all. Try one. Try a couple. As long as you download one of our shows, we're happy. So, with that being said, happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend after seeing a lot of you on Saturday for the marathon show. Chris, how's your week been so far?
I'm not happy.
Oh, jeez, that's an interesting way to start.
And I'm not even any one of the other seven dwarfs either. You know what? You want to know why I'm not happy?
I mean, you're going to tell us, so go ahead.
I found something out today that I don't know if I'm going to like.
All right.
Do you want to guess what it is?
Casey stopped selling corn dog nuggets.
It's not that they stopped selling corn dog nuggets, because that's not true. It's just supposedly they're made out of chicken.
Oh.
Like chicken dogs? Is that what I heard? Is that what I heard right? Did I hear right?
Why?
Is that really the case? Oh my gosh.
What? Wait. They took the hot dog away and they're filling it with chicken, or is the hot dog made of chicken?
The hot dog is made of chicken, from what I can tell.
So it's like a veggie burger where it looks the same, but it doesn't taste the same.
I saw something and I don't know if it's even true, but I sure hope not, because I just don't know if I can handle that kind of stuff right now. I can't even keep a straight face when I'm upset about something, because I don't know if I'm going to really be upset about it. Well, you know what? Just for that, Casey's corn dog nugget.
I mean, are we sure that there was never chicken already in it?
I don't know, but I'm just reading something here, and let's see. This is from WDW News Today. New chicken corn dog nuggets are ruining lives at Casey's Corner in the Magic Kingdom. That's what it says right there. I wouldn't say ruining. I'm just not happy. And I was like, you know, but I love this though. Whoever the author of this, I really have to say is, I kind of think this is funny. Basically, it's like once you mess with the corn dog nuggets, that's when things get personal. And
It's pretty true.
it looks like they look the same. But the thing is, it's like have switched to a chicken dog interior, much like the charging of all beef dog fans. And
I mean, you could always come over to the dark side.
What's
and
that?
Come eat some turkey legs.
See, okay. By the way, this change just happened.
So I don't believe it.
So I don't know. I'm gonna have to try it myself because you guys know me. You don't get a body like this by being a picky eater. So I have to try them. But if they don't taste right, I will break radio silence the next time I take a trip just to go live, just to tell everybody what I think.
So you're still gonna try it, is what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I'm only being dramatic because I'm kind of acting like what a lot of people act online. You know, hashtag vacation ruin. They changed my corn dog nuggets.
See, I just won't frequent them anymore, and it stinks because I was just starting to really fall in love with Casey's with their the mobile order, but my business will go elsewhere.
Well, I mean, they finally got the footlong hot dogs back on track, and now they're over at Cosmic Rays. Now, I like Cosmic Rays. I'd love to go to Cosmic Rays. But seriously, you think Casey's, you think corn dog nuggets, you think footlong hot dogs. But no, I won't do a turkey leg. I tried them. It's not my style. I may try them again though. Gosh, now you got me thinking about turkey leg.
I apologize.
But here's the thing. I just think you need I think you just need to take the meat off the turkey leg before the bone, before you can really enjoy it.
I just don't like Casey's. It's just it like Mary says, and they got rid of the foot long. What, like, you ruined the one good thing you had going there. And then you took away something that some people liked. I mean, I think the footlongs were a lot better back in the day. But I don't know. I'm just hey, when I said to you, is it ever an option that Casey goes away and they make that all storefront? And everybody told me I was crazy. Just saying. You get rid of your number one selling item you change the number one selling item off your menu.
Okay. Right. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I was having a good day until I read that. I'm still going to try it. You know me, but seriously, I'm still not, I think if I try a turkey leg, it's going to have to be like on a bet because
well, what I can say is you had the nuggets out by your house, right? Remember, you had them for not the marathon to show. You had the one from last year.
They're not the same. They weren't the same nuggets.
But now, would you say if you really don't like the chicken, that those were the closest things to them?
No.
All right, try to help me here. I'm trying to make a segue from what you're doing. So I'm going to need you to catch on to where I'm going.
Sorry, I'll... No, they were an okay facsimile. They probably would have been better if they were fried rather than or baked really, really well, like till the point where they're almost hard, crispy. So,
all right. Well, he still didn't help me, so we're just gonna make the hard segue. We'll make the hard left-hand turn right now. You never have to worry about leaving anything behind when going to Disney World ever again. Packing for yourself and your family members, that can be very chaotic. How can I help you? If you are an Amazon Prime member, you will now be able to get same-day delivery.
But the thing is, you were able to get like Amazon Prime Now, which is like always been like a couple hour delivery.
Let me see if they break. With the resort, the Disney hotels also. No, that's nothing really important. It's same day delivery for all Prime members in Orlando. That means your personal items like shampoo, diapers, groceries, or even the extra stroller is only a click away. But never use Amazon strollers, people. Kingdom strollers only.
Well, here's the thing. People don't realize. Okay, I will say Amazon has really upped their game lately with like the next day shipping type of stuff, or I should say, normal Prime shipping. It like shows up the next day. I can order stuff until 11 o'clock at night, and a lot of times I'll get it by 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. And so it
You
really
just have to get lucky that it's in a warehouse near you.
right. I have 2 warehouses near me.
Yeah.
So it's one of those cases. But even then, Amazon Prime now, it's a 2-hour ship or 2 or 4-hour shipping thing. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, and I'll forgive me if I get this wrong, Mike Relman from the Our Guest podcast actually, just totally sung its praises.
What?
The Prime now, when it was like a couple hour shipping.
Oh yeah, me and Lindsay did it. It was great. What I did was I did it the night before. We were laying in bed. I knew what I wanted for the next day, and they have windows you pick from. So we got a couple cases of soda, and we went out. We got a 24 pack of bottled water, 2 of them, and we just got some snacks. I mean, granted, I didn't hit the minimum. You have to spend a minimum. Because I didn't
$5 or $30 or something like that.
Yeah, it was $30. So I got hit with a $5 charge. Then you got hit with a $5 delivery charge. Then you get hit with Disney's $5 receiving charge. So I ended up getting all this stuff, and I paid like $45 when it all was said and done after tax and whatever. But at the same time, $45 would have been what? 7 bottles of water?
Something like that. I mean, the thing is, you can go ahead and you can buy 1 case of soda, 1 case of water, or just some water and some snacks. Pay $40 and still be $35 ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, if you compare apples to apples.
Christine and Sandra both asking very similar questions here. Disney's been doing that for a few years now. Where even it's not only Amazon, it's anything you get shipped. Say you shipped your luggage, or you shipped a car seat, or whatever you could do, whether it was FedEx, UPS, Amazon. Now, the only one I wasn't positive was Garden Grocer.
For the longest time, any grocery delivery did not count. But I think now they charge to have it taken up to your room. That's where that charge comes into play now.
Oh, so if you just get it to Bell service, it's not charged.
It's like if you get a package, you're still going to get charged that $5. Okay. But it's like if you get it sent up to your room, it's like, what was it, $6 or $7 or something. I haven't actually tried it yet. I probably will end up trying it on my next trip.
Yeah, we just got it sent to Bell service, and then me and Lindsay just tracked it up ourselves.
Yeah, as long as you don't have like a box full of like 2 cases of water, and you don't live, and your room is like not on the other end of the resort, you'll be okay.
I mean, we did it. Sometimes, like, the guy even offered, he's like, would you want to borrow the cart? And even though the cart would have worked wonderful, because it wouldn't have been us trekking all this stuff back, I still would have trekked back down to bring him back down his cart. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, I could have been the jerk that held the cart for 5 hours until we went back down. I mean, I'm sure they have a plethora of them, and, they're not really waiting on mine, but I just didn't want to be that guy. So I was like, no, we'll just do it. See, Mary says, it was a $6 fee. And here's the thing, though, that fee does not go to Bell service. So you're paying that $6. Oh, she's saying if you get it to Bell service, you don't get charged as $6. But I got charged $5 when they received my Amazon package. Like, I saw it on my bill. It was $5.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I feel bad. Like, so I guess they're saying it's one or the other. It's either $5 to the desk or $6 if they bring it to your room. I don't know. Here's an interesting way to look at it. Does that ruin the tip for the Bell service guy? Will you have people who will just be like, I paid $6 for a delivery fee, I'm not going to tip them?
I'd like to see. Not that I doubt what Christine says. I'd like to see where it's not going to somebody at Bell Services, because
No, Mary was saying that $6 fee is to the room. I think the way I understood her statement was that there is no fee if it goes to Bell Service through Garden Grocer.
Okay, and by the way, I meant Mary, not Christine.
Yeah.
Sorry, Christine. So, yeah, I mean, it's like if I was there, I'd tip them. That's the thing. So,
all right. So Mary clarified: if you have a package delivered to resort, $5. If you have Bell Service bring it to your door, that costs another $6. So you're in the whole $11.
but here's the thing: if I would probably end up tipping them $3 to $5 anyway.
Yeah, but no, I'm asking you if so. So it's $5 to get it to your resort, $6 to get it to your room. So you're in the whole 11 on top of what you paid. Are you tipping him on top of that?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe $4. Making it even 15. I'm just saying, like, no matter how you look at it, even if you tip the dude a 10, you're still breaking way over. You're still saving a substantial amount of money depending on the length of your stay, how everybody travels, and the amount of people. But it's just some people are not going to look at it that way.
I see as cost versus value. And the fact of the matter is that I'm still going to probably tip someone because he's going to put it in his pocket, and that's what it's intended for. I'm still going to tip a guy that actually, if I see him. Now, if they drop something off, like I don't know if that's the way to do it. If they'll do it, if they'll drop something off while you're not there. I haven't tried it. I haven't really heard too much feedback. If I'm not there, I'm sorry. I'm not going to tip you. I'm sorry. That's as simple as that. But, you don't leave a tip or anything like that if they drop off your bags from Magical Express either. So my whole take on it would be, if I'm there, yeah, I would have tip. I purposely have singles in my pocket, for every trip, no matter what, just because of that.
See, Mary makes up a point right here, and you have to be very careful, Mary. And I'm not attacking you. I'm just using you as the example because you had said it. You still need to tip. Those fees go to Disney. Here's the thing: when you say you have to tip, there is no line of what you don't have to tip anybody. Theoretically speaking, you don't have to tip your waiter or waitress. That is actually just like if you go to other countries, they don't take tips. Not all, some. It's just that is a very Americanized thing where they get paid a lower salary and they live off of your tips. But that is just same thing with housekeeping. You have to show me. You could tell me what's right and wrong, and I'm on your side. I'm a big believer. I tip my bus driver, from the Magical Express. My point is show me where it's written in the rules that this is the etiquette to tip, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to argue the other way. And they're gonna view it as I'm trying to pay devil's advocate, is I've already paid $11 more than the package was worth because of Disney's constant charges. I don't think there should be that $11. You can't hit me for $5 and then $6 to bring it to your room. How about we just call it $8 and you just bring it up to my room? Or that's what I would do if you're Disney. Hey, $8 if you want it brought to your room flat, or $5 flat if you want it just held at Bell Service. 11's a little bomb.
I can't believe that only $1 of that goes to Bell Services.
Oh, I can. Come on.
Out of the 6?
I can. I mean, Disney's very good at capitalizing on certain things. Brian made an interesting post today, and it gave me a chuckle when I was on lunch break. Disney bans all plastic straws, right? And the lids. We dealt with that. So let's save the environment. But let's also make $1 on it and charge $4 for you to get a reusable straw with
an alien
on it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you're just going to use that to make more money. Now, granted, in the grand scheme of things, Disney had the right approach for it. They had the right mindset. They are trying to better the environment. I get that. But I mean, they still made sure that they pushed their product as well.
Here's the thing. Even at the food courts, at the hotels, at the resorts, you're able to get, a bendy
Mickey straw. Yeah. They're cheap. Well, it used to be cheap.
It was $1. I mean, I remember they had a whole thing of them, and I'm like, "How much are they?" And she said, "How much?" I'm like, "I'll take the whole bunch." And she goes, "Not a problem." And we gave those out at the Indie Disney Meet one year. We're like, so I mean, but here's the thing: the idea of buying something from Amazon. I mean, you're not buying household items. You're buying the stuff that you need for your trip. You're not just casually shopping. Besides, now with Amazon, you can, if I saw something I really needed, if I was flipping through later and I'm like, "Ooh, I want that." You click and then you could say what day you want it delivered. I'll just make it a day after I get home. So it's one of those things. The whole thing.
Sorry.
But, no, I was going to say, my whole take on it is that, yeah, granted, there could be a huge flame war against the whole tipping thing. And my whole take on it is that there are tip positions. There are non-tip positions. For example, on the Disney cruise ships, like your stateroom host or hostess, they only get paid by your gratuities. That's all they get paid. They don't get a salary. They are working solely on your gratuity. And they have so many rooms, it actually works out pretty well, but they are busting hump all day long. So that's different. Mind you, also not a US ship. They play by different rules.
Yes, they do.
Okay. Big difference. They fly under a Bahamian flag, not under a US flag. Now, but there are tipped positions and there are non-tip positions. And, the fact of the matter is that as a friend of mine, better put it, tip to improve performance. The fact of the matter is I do tip, but I tip differently probably than other people. The fact of the matter is like being in a DVC room, I tip at the end, but also the room is 3/4 clean by the time I leave too, just because of how we keep it. Do I tip bell services when they come to the door? Absolutely. And I think I tip them pretty well. Bus driver, if I don't put anything underneath and they don't touch my luggage, I don't tip. But if they help me with something, regardless of luggage or not, they get something. But it's one of those things. And when you can go ahead and argue that all you want, the fact of the matter is tipping in the United States is still an optional thing. It's rude I think it's rude if you stiff your waiter or waitress.
Yeah.
I think
very rude.
If you're, we've talked about this before. You tip based upon your service. You don't necessarily tip based upon your food because that's not your server's problem. You got a sucky server. You should probably go talk to a supervisor or a manager before the very end because you don't deserve that anyway. And then again, if you have an awesome server, you better be making it rain, in my opinion. I mean, that's my take.
So I want to go back to something here because I want to bring up a point. Alex mentions, why do people vacation Orlando and people order Amazon? For what? You're on vacation, forget about Amazon. All right, I'm going to play a little game with you real quick, right? I drink a gallon of water a day, and that's not in the Florida heat, but I drink a gallon of water a day. Let's keep it simple. In a gallon of water, that's 128 ounces, if I remember math correctly. Like there's 128 ounces in a gallon.
You're very good at maths.
So you divide 128 by an average 16-ounce bottle. That comes to what? 8 ounces?
No, 8 bottles.
Eight bottles. Yeah, excuse me. 8 bottles. You know where I was going with. Okay. Disney prices how much? 5?
It's like 4 or 5.
We'll call it 5.
Call it 5.
Call 40. It 5. 8 times 5 is $40. If I'm there for just 6 days, I'm spending $240 on water.
That's if you don't do the
quick service, ice. I get all that. But that's without snacks. I want a bag of chips. You're paying $4 or $5 for, or $3-4, whatever they are, for the little fun size bag of chips. That's why people order on Amazon. I can pay $4 for a 24 pack. So let's just round it up to $10 after tax for 48 bottles. That's why people order. Now I want to touch on. Then he asked a follow-up question later on. We're back into the tipping. Do you tip if housekeeping brings you extra supplies? I I don't. I just tip at the end. I understand that housekeeping, it's kind of one of those weird games where you might not get the same person every day, and their shift might have ended by the time you vacation is over. I get that, but if you bring me supplies, no, I don't tip. I just tip at the end.
If I call and I ask for extra supplies and they bring it and I'm there, they get a tip.
Okay, so now I'm opposite. I don't. I just say thank you.
Now, at the same time, I'm a little different, staying at a DVC resort. So the thing is that I'm not going to be tipping every single day to a different person since I get limited services.
Yeah, and even when I stay at non-DVC, I don't tip every day. I just tip at the end.
And the thing is that's actually acceptable to a lot of people. I realize it may not necessarily be fair in some people's eyes, but it all depends. Besides, I mean, these days, I'll be honest. I walk into I travel for business often. I hang up my towel. I put my bed back in a reasonable manner. People don't do much when they come in my room. In my trash.
See, Alex, you're saying that Walmart you can get 40 bottles of $2.98. How are most people getting the Walmart? People like me, I don't mind Ubering. But I'm from the Northeast where getting in a stranger's car is a daily occurrence. There's a lot of other people who are not comfortable with that. Also, and with the way minivan prices are, it's way too expensive to take a minivan all the way out there.
Well, you're not going to take it to Walmart anyway because they don't go there. But what I'm kind of getting at though is
they won't bring you there. Oh, that's right. It has to be Disney property, correct?
Now, here's the thing though. Here's my take. You have your choice of either spending time on property in the parks, enjoying yourself with your family, or you could spend 10 extra bucks to have something basically delivered. And you know what? Again, cost, value. Cheapest cost does not necessarily equate to the best value. You can, if you look at all the amount of money that you spend on a Disney vacation, including the hours that you're sleeping, versus how much you pay, you darn well believe it for extra 10 bucks is not going to be it's going to be a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to look at cost versus value. Lowest cost does not equate to best value.
Yeah. So, and Alex, I appreciate you offering to give me a hand. It's just, we're speaking for the masses, not for individuality. And then back to the tipping for the, like housekeeping, he brings up a point. If if you're on the number 2 and you see a houseman and you need supplies to bring you toilet paper, you're supposed to tip. Once again, though, where is that written? Because you're now getting into a weird world where anytime somebody does a service for you, you're supposed to tip them. See what I'm saying? Like, you're getting into a very dangerous area when people start saying you're supposed to tip here every time somebody gives you a service. Because at the same time, you're still being paid by a business. Like, for example, I walk up and I deliver a package to your door. I don't get tipped. Or if you say, okay, that's his job. And then you say, oh, Mr. Danny, by the way, can you run out and go grab me a couple extra boxes out of your truck? I need to ship something out later. Sure, no problem. And I bring it back I go to my truck, I get those boxes, I bring them back to you. You don't tip me for that service. And you might laugh and say that doesn't make sense, but that is literally what I just described as housekeeping, just in a different form.
Well, and also at the same time, sometimes, like example, I'll be really honest. I tipped my delivery people during Christmas and also during the hottest days of summer if I'm home. I'll go ahead and, like example, especially in the summertime, and if I'm working in the garage, I usually have a cooler full of water in my garage, or my fridge. I have a little mini fridge in the garage, cold water. I'm working on something. I see the delivery man come up. I say, dude, hold on a second. Grab him, give him a bottle of water. So just because I'm trying to be a nice guy.
Yeah, that's different. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it's different. It's because, well, also, I will say this: a lot of times those delivery people, they know me now because I see them all the time. Yeah. With the exception, all the Amazon drivers that come out, always a different person. So And so I miss my
Have
UPS
a
guy.
high turnover rate.
Well, the thing I miss my UPS person because now 90% of my Amazon deliveries are coming through Amazon delivery services, not through UPS or FedEx. So anyway, but it's one of those things where it's like I get it. I get it in along the lines of what's the best way of putting it? Is someone not going to provide a service because they don't think they're going to get a tip? I hope not.
Like, to me, the only industry that requires a tip every time they do a service for me is my waiter or waitress / bartender. Outside of that, everything okay. Then I would say the next tier down is okay. If I've got heavy luggage and the bus driver and I'm only seeing him twice on a trip, okay, I'll throw him a couple bones there. How if anytime bell service wants to bring my bags up or come gets my bags, all right, I'll throw you a couple bones there. Housekeeping, like I said, I personally do it at the end of the week. Some people do it every day. At the end of the day, we're giving out the same amount of cash, no matter how you look at it, because whether you're giving 5 a day or 50 at the end of the week, you're still leaving the money. But like when it comes into other services where you're just asking for something, like, I don't know, like the same thing, like, do you tip your garbage man every day? No, you tip your garbage man during the holidays. Do you tip your post guy when he's got to come bring that Amazon package up to your door? No, you tip him during the holidays. Like, you see, like, it just, and, she made Mary made it a good point. She said, have you ever seen the list of what you're supposed to tip to who? It's out of control. It's like, hey, tip your mayor because he only raised your taxes by 3% this year. It's like, wait, well, who? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, the thing of it is that example. I just go back to the example. If I'm around at my room and someone brings something to me, I will throw them a buck or two. If I'm not around and they leave it there, I'm sorry. I will not. I'm not going to just leave something there. Because I think that's where you start getting into some problems. I mean, how many times have you heard someone say, well, I took that 20 off your dresser because I thought it was a tip? And I'm not saying that as a critical statement, but we've all done those things. And, so there's a lot of gray area when it's not specifically a tip person. So, and like what's like Stan, if you want to throw that back up there real quick, like Stan, he says, he goes, I always ask for no daily housekeeping, but I'm usually traveling solo and spend very little time in the room. So, yeah, I mean, great point. The fact is that sometimes you don't need that housekeeping every single time. You don't necessarily need different things. And also, if you think about it, now that Disney is starting to shift over to the bigger dispensers of shampoo and stuff like that, the fact of the matter is that, they're doing it in a way where you almost don't even have to call for extra things. But, it's just kind of interesting. But, regardless, I don't want to get into a spitting match over this because obviously, there's nothing defined. There's nothing really super defined about it. There's no real solid rule, in my opinion. And Alex, by all means, my friend, I'm again, just like what Danny said earlier, I'm speaking in generalities. I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about your team that you work with. I'm not talking about a specific resort. Danny and I both have a lot of respect for people in the service industry. Heck,
I work in the service industry.
Listen, for the longest period of time, I paid bills by being a valet attendant. Okay. I got nothing but tips. And there are some days I went home after 10 hours working with $5 in my pocket. And there are times where after, a 10-hour shift, I walked out with $300 in my pocket. But the fact of the matter is, and that was only like 1 or 2 days a year. Let me go ahead and make that clear. And, the thing is, yeah, sure, I got to drive everything from a Mazda to a Maserati. That was really cool.
All the M's.
Oh, yeah, the Ferraris were awesome. But the fact of the matter is, I know what it's like. I know what it's like to bring up some guy's big old luxury car and help him get his golf clubs in the back and stuff like that. Oh, here's a buck for you. Thanks a lot, man. That's awesome. I get it. So, it is just one of those things. We have a deep respect for the service industry. We're either doing it or have done it, lived it. So, but there are some gray areas. There are some gray areas. But but Danny, I will tell you this. As I said before, wait staff. Oh yeah, I make sure they're taken care of. I always do. Even with buffets. Even with buffets, family style type of stuff, because I think a lot of them work even harder to keep everything clean. Very rarely at Disney have I had a problem. And my biggest thing is that again, if you have a problem at Disney, talk to someone first, because you don't deserve poor quality. And 99 times out of 100, I'd like to think you're going to get the service that you deserve. So there you go.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Enough talking about tips. Unless you're tipping me. Thank you, babe.
Welcome. I fixed it.
New entertainment and decor coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom for the 2019 holiday season. Before I dive into this, the artwork that they chose and how everything's illuminated.
Yes.
That is such malarkey, because that is the same thing they did with Pandora, and it never panned out that way. And now it's not necessarily their fault. I understand there's certain lines and guidelines they need to follow due to the fact of the lighting for animals at night. They can't throw off everything, but then don't lie. That's just one park I never understood why even bother doing.
You're talking about the tree being very,
it looks overly lit. Yes.
and you know what? I'm not even going to say that's trick photography. That's just photography, because
it's fake. It's not really photography.
Well, the thing of it is that even on some default settings, I can get a picture like that in a instant snap. But you're right. In some cases, it looks a little bit brighter, a little more colorful. But who knows? Maybe that is what they are actually going to have. Maybe that's something that they have tested, and they're making things brighter and more colorful for this new overlay that they're going to have, for the holiday season.
I just don't see how they're going to be able to, but only time will tell. So Walt Disney had announced that Animal Kingdom will be revealing its own dose of holiday magic this year. When guests head over the bridge into Discovery Island, they'll find themselves right in the middle of a winter celebration. The village will be filled with sparkling white holiday decorations that were handcrafted by the artists who call Discovery Island home. Colorful animal-inspired lanterns line the rooftops, and wireframe lanterns in the shape of beautiful birds can be found perched throughout the area. During the day, the island will host a gathering of winter animals in the form of life-size artisan sculpted puppets. Reindeer, foxes, polar bears, penguins, and more will interact with guests as they serenade by musicians playing festive holiday music. Rooftop luminaires and bird lanterns will be added into the entire village at the center of the park. The Tree of Life will awaken with the wintry tales, complemented by a familiar and heartwarming holiday-inspired musical score. The Tree of Life will shimmer and sparkle throughout the night, alive with the magic of nature and the spirit of holidays between the awakening moments.
You know what? The first thing that came to my mind when I heard you talking about the nighttime look of it all was the not a replacement, but something that is reminiscent of Osborne Spectacle of Lights. I mean, it's obviously not a replacement, but to have something special in lights for the holiday season, especially if they are artistically done. That was the first thing that came to my mind.
A couple of other lands will also be having stuff going on. Dino Land. Guests will find their Disney character friends together for Donald's Dino Bash. Colorful holiday decorations in the style of Donald Duck. With the land and each of its friends at night, guests are invited to gather around Truckosaurus. I always have a tough time reading that one out. For holiday hoopla dance party with Chip and Dale and play interactive games. All right, not bad. I'm not a fan of Dino Land, but that seems like a little bit of a little uptick there. Asia, the residents will decorate the theater district in celebration of Diwali, the holiday festival of lights in India. Glowing flowers, lanterns, and more will illuminate the square between the theater and the waterfront stage, home to the authentic cultural performances.
That actually
Could be beautiful if done right.
I can think it'd be very beautiful. It almost, I'll tell you, I'm going to tell you right now, almost makes me want to go out there for the holidays just to see this new bit. I'll be real.
I would.
I'd love this. I mean, I love this idea. I'm sorry. Go ahead and continue.
Yeah, you're fine. Village of Harambe in Africa. Visitors will be welcomed with a unique holiday presentation, blending the inspiration and style of Western traditions with the colors and textiles of authentic African celebrations. The various groups appearing throughout Harambe introduce holiday-inspired enchantments, including custom additions and new music to their performances. The holiday fun continues inside Tusker House for dining with Disney friends, where Mickey and his pals spread holiday cheer throughout the meal. Tusker House. That sounds fun. And obviously, Pandora will have to get something. The expats who reside on the moon of Pandora will bring a little Christmas time fun to their alien home with a display of Pangu Pangu of kitschy holiday decor, combining vintage pieces from Earth with items handcrafted from materials indigenous to Pandora.
Okay.
That I'm not excited for.
That actually, I'm just curious as to what that's going to look like. Okay, because using a term like kitschy, I mean, I am thinking of, some kind of Christmas decorations that I would find in my grandma's garage, that type of thing, but handcrafted out of stuff you would find indigenous to Pandora. That could actually be kind of interesting. I think it'd be more funny than anything else, but it would be interesting to see how. Also, I liked how they referred to it as the expats that live on Pandora. That's actually quite interesting.
So let's, how far are we in? All right.
We got about another 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, this might take up the rest of the show.
Uh-oh.
So.
Oh, you got something?
Yeah, well, let's talk about these hand-built lightsabers inside Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Lightsabers. I thought you said hand-built lifesavers. I'm like,
ooh,
like big gigantic candies or something.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. With a big chisel, and you just take a big chunk off and just shove it in and keep eating.
As long as it's that cherry lifesaver. Oh yeah.
Oh, I said like the lime. All right. Savi's Workshop.
Yeah.
It's the official page on the official Disneyland Resort website has been updated, providing more about the hand-built lightsaber experience that will be available inside Star Wars Galaxy's Edge,
right?
Including the $199 price tag. We already knew that there were 4 hilt themes available,
right?
Okay, we've got the Peach and Justice, salvage scraps from fallen Jedi temples, and crashed starships in these replica era designs honor the galaxy's former guardians. We've got Power and Control. Originally forged by Darkside warriors, this style features rumored remnants from the Sith homeworld and abandoned temples. Then we have Nature. This theme embodies the force and energy created by all living things like bylark trees, whale bones, and rancor teeth. Names on these things are ridiculous. Protection and defense. Hilt materials, bear mysteries, modifies the reconnect users with the ancient wellspring of the Force. Guests will meet one of Savi's gatherers who will help them choose one of the themes and give them a pin to identify their selection. The gatherers will then help guests select the heart of the lightsaber, the Kyber crystal, which is available in red, blue, green, or violet. Guests will then provide parts of their lightsaber based on their theme. In addition to the one hilt, guests will select 2 sleeves out of 4 options, 1 emitter out of 2 options, 1 pommel cap, and 1 set of activation plates and switches. Finally, the gatherers will connect the lightsabers to a 36-inch blade and guests will receive a carrying case. The lightsaber can be customized further with items from Doc Ondar's Den of Antiques. You have to be 14 years or older to buy this alone, and they are non-refundable and have no eligible discounts.
Nope, because they are going to be handmade, unique, only to you, and they are literally they're calling it one of a kind. When in essence, there's thousands of different combinations that you can actually get.
There are that many,
from what I understand, and I do know of a person that was able to buy. He bought one. I think he said one. I don't know. All I know is he spent about $400 on lightsabers at Disneyland.
Okay, so I decided I'm just gonna go over and let's be real. Let's what are they doing? They're basing this off of the wands from Harry Potter. The most expensive wand on their Shop Universal app right now is $70.
These are not anywhere near the same caliber though.
To the point of, but do the lightsabers do things in the parks like the wands do?
I don't know necessarily about that, but you're not talking about the same quality material. You're not talking about you're not talking about cheap hilts. I mean, you're talking about stuff that's all different types of materials, not just something that's like plastic from Tatooine traders. That's the thing.
What is this? This lightsaber's not just made of plastic at the end of the day?
No,
it's actual metal.
If I'm not mistaken, some of them are metal.
There's no way they're gonna let you walk around with a metal rod in your hand.
No,
that's
not a metal rod. We're talking about that hilt. It's the hilt.
But that thing's you're gonna smack somebody with that thing.
That's why you have it in a carrying case. These are intended for the collector. These are intended, dude. Let me tell you something. I understand that a lot of people don't get this, but there are people that were spending $150 for a lightsaber from Hasbro at Star Wars Celebration. And it was not customized. It was already pre-made, but it's all about the materials and all about the weight of it. It's about the uniqueness of it. It's about the accuracy of it.
I mean, if you want to argue that, that's fine. But to argue the fact that it's a collector's item, the one wand I pulled up for $70 is their interactive 2019 collector's edition wand. So
just because they put it collector's edition doesn't mean it's a collector's item. I'm talking about people, dude. There are people at Star Wars Celebration that spent tons of time building their own hilt on their lightsaber, something that was very much unique to them, and spent tons of hours and research and crafting. There's a guy that had his crafted out of billet aluminum. I mean, so the thing is that for them to be able to get a high quality piece from Disney that is basically, custom made in front of you, that's something that you just have to see it to believe it. I saw these things at Celebration, and they are amazing looking. They've got some weight to them. So, that's the biggest thing. I realize it's not something I'm going to buy. I'm going to admit to it. I can't say never. I mean, after all, let's see. I do have a lightsaber back there. In fact, it's right there. It's not on, but I have a lightsaber back there. But it's a $50 lightsaber. But the fact that I didn't pay that, of course. But the fact of the matter is that if you are a Star Wars collector and it is of high enough quality, that's actually something that they will pay for.
And I'm not arguing that the mass is not there to buy it. My question is, though, you're going to have a lot of young children, boy, girl, doesn't matter, who are going to want a lightsaber, and they're going to walk into this store, and you're going to have a lot of very unhappy children when the parents has 2 kids and are saying we're not dropping $400 on a collectible item for my child.
The thing is, I can almost guarantee you these are not going to be the only lightsabers that you're going to find around there.
No, but I feel like you're going to walk in and these are going to be the things. They're not going to put the cheap ones center aisle. You know what I mean? They're going to put the most expensive collectors up front for you to buy. They want you to spend money.
I think it's one of those things we're going to have to see, because I don't think that this is going to be one of those things where it sounds more like a very much personalized experience, and not just something like, it's not going to be something that's going to be mainstream right in front of you type of scenario.
Why? They do it with the avatars that you can design to make it look like yourself. Those are prominent in the store, but those are collectible. Hold on. Those are collector items, though. Just because Pandora does not have the following of Star Wars doesn't lessen the fact of, if you are a hardcore collector and you are a ginormous Pandora follower, these are your lightsabers.
I don't disagree, but the thing of it is that I don't necessarily think parents are going to be dropping that kind of cash.
So that's my point, though. The thing is, you can walk in that Pandora store, and yes, you don't have to get the one that looks like your kid to get a nice looking. I apologize. I don't remember the name of what they call these things.
The avatar itself.
Yeah, I think there's like a specific name for the doll that you can customize.
Oh, exactly what you're talking about. So you stand there, they basically laser.
Yeah, my thing is you can go just get a hard plastic mold of it that just looks like a normal character.
Right.
The thing is, but those are not like that is prime and center. And I've seen kids have meltdowns that they want the fancy one in the case, and those don't even rank with what the lightsabers are going to run you.
I think it's kind of funny that you're bringing this up, because I just honestly think I don't know. Are we at a point where parents better
just don't bring your kid in that store, man? That'd be my guess.
I don't know. It's actually going to be kind of an interesting. I'm not debating the idea. I'm just saying it's like, this is going to be more so a collector's item for the real fan, not a toy, so to speak. But I don't disagree that you're always, you know what, dude, you're going to have kids melting down over anything there.
Yeah.
But I get it. These are like, okay, like what Justin here is mentioning. These are cosplay ready. And that was the case when I went through the Galaxy's Edge exhibit at Celebration. The materials that they're using for a lot of the higher end stuff is intended for a cosplayer, not necessarily for your 10-year-old son or daughter. And I'm hoping parents will understand that, instead of someone saying, "Oh my God, all that stuff is so expensive." Well, understand what its target audience is. They're also most likely going to have other items that, intermediate pricing for general souvenir use.
I'm gonna lay down 2 things for you. One, they said just like you said, cosplay ready.
Right.
So are those wands. Yes, you are talking about an extended piece of metal and plastic and built together to be longer than a wand, both cosplay ready. So you can argue that. You can say that this is better material, but if you're going to bring up the idea of cosplay, these both are cosplay ready. This wand is no joke. That the wand I'm happy to look at. Now, next thing, Jessica says, oh, sorry.
Oops, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, fight.
Nope, there we go. They will have a kid version. If the kids throw down, it's parenting, not marketing. I couldn't disagree with that statement more. It is 110% marketing. You know who they're going to market on? The parents who don't want to deal with their kids having a meltdown, or the parents who don't want to say no.
I'm going to have to say it's both. Parents have to know what they're going to do about the marketing.
Yes, but it's still marketing. The market is to make as much money as they possibly can, whether it's from collector or little John Susie, who really wants to beat their brother up with the actual lightsaber instead of the plastic one you get out front for $20.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those cases where I realize some people are not going to want to pay it, and that's fine. But the thing is, I don't think you're going to have every kid melting down over it either.
Neither, and I don't think that at all, because trust me, I've seen plenty of kids. They'll walk by with that little cart and they want the Buzz Lightyear that spins and blow bubbles. Some kids have meltdowns. Some kids, their parents say no, and they say, okay, let's keep on moving. I mean, kids are in the stores all the time. There's millions of stuffed animals and things, and I can play both arguments. I've seen kids have a meltdown. I've seen kids not have a meltdown. I'm just saying it's a big difference when that stuffed animal's $40 and when that lightsaber starts out at $199. That was my point. Now, I know someone asked me a question. It was a little while ago. I want to say it was, Kevin. I have a question. What is the most expensive Disney collectible you have? It's a very interesting question because it depends on what you consider to be a collectible.
Because I have watches. I have some very expensive watches. And probably my most expensive watch is, I think I bought it. Here's the thing. I bought it for close to 200. It's worth nearly 400 right now on the open market. And they're selling for it too. Because I have about 30, maybe 35 Disney watches. All of them are not just the kind of, the $10 ones. These are collectible, limited edition. Some are 1 of 100. Some are numbered edition. Some are Disney Cruise Line. I think, but my wife, she collects Doonies. I could have bought a small car for how many Doonies that woman has. But I love my wife, and she can have all the Doonies she wants. So there.
Now, Justin says the wand is a collectible or cosplay ready, but it's not an extension as the lightsaber.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't extend, no, but it is just as powerful part of a cosplay than as a lightsaber, though. I mean, those are both the tools that they use. I don't know. Most expensive thing that it's not really a Disney collectible, though. I would say the picture that was rendered by a Disney artist. I paid I got it for Christmas, but I know the retail of it was like $4 and change with the picture of me and my dad.
Okay.
That would probably, I mean, outside of that, no, I don't really.
You spent $400 on
that? Shipped, framed, yeah.
Oh, okay. Shipped and framed. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Outside of that, man, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna probably get crucified when I say this. I don't value collecting certain things like that. I don't know. I'd rather spend my extra money on collecting that item and just go on an extra vacation. That's how I've always viewed things. I mean, all my popcorn buckets. I mean, where is he? He's not cheap. He's not expensive though, but that's the holiday Buzz Lightyear. He was a little pricey on the pricier end. Yeah, looking around, I really don't. No, I really don't have anything that's worth a whole bunch of money collectible wise.
For a while, my wife also had a lot of snow globes.
Okay.
The thing is, it was really hard. As things changed, it became harder and harder to bring home snow globes. So that was one of those things. She still likes snow globes. You know what else she has, and it's not really a super collectible, cookie jars. Those darn Christmas cookie jars that the Disney store sells at Christmas time, because it's like, oh my gosh. But I do have some very rare pieces of art that are hanging up in my office here. Unfortunately, I can't really. They're on that wall, which you're not going to be able to see. My favorite one is this one that is a dated piece that was supposed to be for a promotional material for 50 years of Disneyland in 2005 at the Henry Ford Museum. You know what makes it unique? The date's wrong.
Really?
Date's wrong.
Oh, that'll be worth something to the right buyer.
There was only 10 of them that actually they printed out before they realized, oh crap, the information's wrong. I snagged one of them for a pretty decent price. And I love it. It's one of my favorite pieces. So I always thought it's kind of nice. I also have 2 pieces, mainly Mickey, Sorcerer Mickey type pictures I got from the Art of Disney. Absolutely love them. I have a beautiful frame that they're on hanging on my wall. I'm going to probably get some, I think this year when we go out for the food and wine, I know they usually have some artists and stuff there. I may pick something up this next year.
Yeah, I mean, like I mean, maybe some of the things I've bought over the years will eventually have value. But I doubt, because the way Disney pumps things out now, unless you buy something that is truly limited edition. I mean, like, is my flower and garden mug from last year ever going to be worth something? You know, I doubt it, you know, because they mass produce millions of them.
Yeah, it's like the big, huge snow globes, which they don't really make a lot of the snow globes anymore because they're so darn hard to get home unless you're actually like driving home.
Disgusting.
Huh? What?
The water gets nasty in them over time.
You know, we have some that are 15 years old and they're still crystal clear. But
wow.
I do know what you're talking about because I have had snow globes where, well, first off, it's kind of funny because, you know, after about 5-6 years, all of a sudden you realize there's a little less water in it. You're like wondering, where is it going?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, you know, after you ever find one at your grandma's house after like 50 years and it's like this, it's like sludge and like all the little snow is kind of coagulated. Oh yeah, that's just funny.
I've collected three things in my life: Pokemon cards, baseball cards, TY Beanie Babies. I got the Princess Diana one.
I like Alex. He says he collects limited edition Disney pins. I do too. I don't pin trade. I just buy pins that I really like, especially if they're limited edition. So, Bonnie, you ought to meet my one niece because she's got all the Tsum Tsums that I could possibly imagine, and she has a ton of those things. It's actually really, really kind of funny. Let's see. Bailey says she does older park maps. That's kind of cool because, you know, collecting is in the eye of the beholder. We ought to find some people that actually like give input on what they collect. Because I think that's actually really pretty, you know, really pretty awesome. Just to kind of get an idea. I'd love to do a call-in program if people would just tell us what they collect and why do they collect it, and have multiple people call in and tell us what they do.
It is true though. Collections are becoming less popular today.
You know what it is though? You know why I think it is? Because
prices skyrocket on everything.
Well, prices skyrocket, but also the fact is I don't. So many people are trying to downsize their lives. You ever realize that? I mean, the fact of the matter is that my wife and I just this last weekend talking a little bit about, you know, our plans of when we're, you know, finally going to end up down in Florida. It's going to be a number of years from now. Nobody panic. I ain't going anywhere. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, I live in a 2-story house right now with a basement. I'd have to get rid of literally 3/4 of the stuff I have. You know, there's just one of those things where it's like, you got to downsize eventually, you know? Yeah, fishing rods and gun collections. Totally.
I agree.
Hey, there are some. Okay, I'll admit, if I can do it this year, I'm going to do it this year. I've missed out an opportunity to buy. It was an engraved shotgun that was commemorating the National Boy Scout Jamboree back 2 years ago. And I missed out on it. It was beautiful. It was not something that you would actually fire, but it had just absolutely.
Oh, you wouldn't fire it?
You know what? I probably would. I'll be honest with you. You know, you take it. But, you know, unfortunately, the one I found was all the way in Michigan, and it get laws crossing state lines. It gets a little bit funny. So, so the funny part about it is like, if they do one for the Jamboree this year, I'll travel for it just because.
And see, Mary brings up a good point. It's going through my grandmother's stuff has been an absolute nightmare. It was 86 years of, and that rare generation that kept there. And now some things I kind of felt was like when my grandfather passed away, hotels used to, they didn't always have swipes, people. They used to have actual keys. And he kept all the keys. He's got swipe matches from all different places all over the world.
The matches that you could like light on any surface.
Yeah, but he's also got the actual booklets too of like what these came out of restaurants and hotels and everything. Yeah, some of the stuff was really cool. Other things that we've gone through, I'm like, why did my grandma have 19 stuffed roosters? They were never real roosters. They were just decoration roosters. I mean, I'm sure somebody likes them. I don't. You know what I mean? It's just make life easy for the future. Not saying like live like a hermit, and live like, in a hole, but I don't know. I value, I mean, listen, I've got a whole bunch of crap back there, and I'm sure one day someone might look at my stuff and be like, what were you thinking?
I have to say, as someone that has had the unfortunate need to, go through my mom's stuff when she suddenly passed away a couple of years ago. I mean, the fact of the matter is that it took me months to go through her stuff, and I gave 95% of it away. And people were like, "Well, why don't you sell it in order to at least get something for it?" I'm like, I don't have the time or energy.
Oh yeah.
The only thing I would say is that I would hope that if someone saw the things that I collect, they would recognize the items that have value, and I hope they keep them. I hope they keep them from themselves, and I hope they enjoy them. Obviously. Oh, I collect hats. I mean, by now everybody should know I collect hats. I wear a different one nearly every show. But, I wouldn't expect people to, keep the hat like this 30 years from now.
Yeah. So, yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's cool to collect things. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's just, that's what makes this show. There's a lot of collectors in this, like Trisha said before. And I think that we have, and especially in this show, I'd say we have a very large, diverse group of different collectors from all different walks of life. And
I think it's absolutely fabulous that our audience is so diverse. And I'll tell you right now, hey, as I said, I'm actually pretty serious. I would love to actually do a really cool collector show. In fact, I'd like to see if I can find like a professional Disney collector. And I'm not talking about someone that has a room the size of a, small house. It's just filled with Disney stuff. I mean, someone who actually can curate a Disney collection, if you kind of catch my drift. It may take me a little bit of time to find somebody of that caliber because I really don't know. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to admit something. Oops, where'd it go? Mary. She collects stiff bears, or did you mean stuffed bears? I thought it said stuffed bears.
I think she meant stuffed bears.
I collect Disney plush. I have, I could collect a whole bunch of Disney plush. Eventually, it's going to probably end up going to my grandkids. But there's a lot of people that say they collect hats, but here's the thing.
I've got plates from the Contemporary, Kevin.
Cool. Jimmy says, he says,
oh, it is stiff. I don't know what that is.
Okay. Jimmy says he saves money in invests in one piece of art per year instead of small multiple times per year. And I think that's wise because you keep it real. You also get something really nice, something you really enjoy. Because here's the thing. If you have a collection and you don't really enjoy it, what's the purpose? I really love to enjoy the things that I collect.
I know, and I love the art. I do. I love the art. It's just I have these 4 walls for my Disney art. That was always something how I wanted to live, and Lindsay has also carried it over where I'm not the type of person where I want my house thrown up as Disney. I've walked into people's houses, and not saying it's not done tastefully. I don't want my entire house covered with Disney stuff. So I would run out of wall space very quickly.
We have 4 panoramic prints in our family room. probably $1,000 worth of artwork. And, and I'll be honest with you, where the $1,000 really came into play? The matting, the framing. Those things are expensive when you have to do them custom. And I guess I had them custom framed. And, it's just one of those cases where, those are just absolutely gorgeous. We love them. But, the thing is, I think I'm like Jimmy. I'd rather buy fewer, nicer, more valuable pieces of art that, than smaller pieces. But, you do only have limited wall real estate. That's one thing I did find out this past November when I started redoing my office. So let's see.
I literally just, I chose the road of popcorn buckets is my little obsession that my little treat, some sweatshirts, some clothing. But outside of that, I just like to take multiple trips in a year, whether it's to Disney or not. That's just where my extra money goes outside of collectibles.
And, it's very true. I mean, everybody does it differently. I mean, there's a lot of things that we collect. Actually, I have to be honest with you. The more that we go to Disney, the more that we actually say, you know what, I'm not going to buy a lot of souvenirs, but I am going to buy a nice piece of art, or I'm going to buy this nice collectible, or, this figurine or something because it would go nice here, and we enjoy it. So yeah. I don't know, but I think on that note, I do want to talk about that more some other time, but I think on that note, I need to press a button. What do you think?
Do it away.
All right. You heard the show, and we hope you want more. Well, feel free to join us over at our social media platforms. Instagram and our Facebook page can be found at Behind the Ears Podcast. Our webpage is behindtheearspodcast.net, and our email is behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter handle is @BehindTheEarsPC. And come and join the conversation about all things Disney over at the WDW community page. Don't forget to rate and review the show over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us get the word out about the show. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or the Podbean app. Also, you can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and via Alexa and Google Home.
All right, with that being said, everybody, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears Podcast. I am Uncle Danny. That was Mr. Chris. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I don't know if you can really follow an email address, but if you could always follow us there. You can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursday at 9:45 p.m. Eastern on Facebook or YouTube. I did see that we were having a couple people saying there were some issues with the comment section. We will try to get to the bottom of that the best we can. With that being said, everybody, I hope you have a safe and wonderful week. I will see you all on Thursday. Tuck your kids in tight, wear your seatbelt, and just so you know, we did hit our goal for the marathon show. I'm Uncle Danny. Goodbye.
And I'm Mr. Chris. Thank you so much. Sorry, I already got a frog in my throat for some reason. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Just remember that if you're here on our live show and we don't necessarily get to your particular comment or question, we do see those. We do read every last one of them, and we go through them most likely the next day, and also most likely use them as topics for future shows. So we love those comments, even though we don't necessarily get to them every show. Well, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign us off. But until we meet again, we hope that you have an absolutely magical day. Take care.